Hey YouTube, so we are doing Dictum today, and we just did Second Mountain. Dictum was in front of you, Second Mountain is to the left there, that we just came up. This is the parking lot that is a staging area where you unload your ATV, your side-by-side, or if you're a Jeep group, this is where you start, basically. And there's a little access road to get down to here. I'm going to show you on a map how to get here in case you didn't watch one of the previous videos, and then we're going to go do the trail. So this is map number 9 from the US Forestry Service. The red is Flagpole Knob that everybody's familiar with, and then the blue is where Dictum and Second Mountain is. The little black and white dash lines is what I'm talking about. The right one is Second Mountain, the left one is Dictum. Inside that blue box it looks kind of like a heart, and then the purple up the top is Feedstone that we have a video on. So anyway, so you start at the church, which is on the far right hand side of the blue box, and then you go up Long Run Trail to get to the upper part of that little blue box that I have on the screen, and then you start there and you go down. The little stake will say Dictum, and that will lead you to this parking lot, and this is where you start. So this is the start of the Dictum Trail, and like I was saying, if you come down to the parking lot, you make an immediate right turn, and that's Dictum, and if you go straight, it's Second Mountain. And that spot there where it looked like it forked, it did fork. This, I believe, is a bypass that we're on, and the other, you'll see right there, it reconnects, so you can go either way. We took the bypass in because it looked like the more established way at the time. This was the first time we'd ever been on this trail. And so the Dictum Trail, it felt fun also, just like Second Mountain, and it felt like the obstacles were kind of similar to like the Union Springs obstacles, and you can see here is one of the obstacles that we're on. And obviously, you know, nothing's touching. Maybe a touch of pumpkin there, it was hard to tell, but that's kind of like the size of the obstacles you're looking at throughout the Dictum Trail. And it's not just like one obstacle either. You kind of see those obstacles like every minute or two, and that's sort of the same size as the obstacles you see on the Union Springs side of Flagpole Knob. And this was like another one of the confusing spots where we ended up going left, and like I was saying, we kept making left turns basically. There was one spot that went to a Forestry Ranger building. It looked like that we did not make a turn on, but you saw it just like loop back around and came back here. The Dictum Trail, we did notice, was a lot narrower than the other trail that we were on, than the Second Mountain, and you can tell that by just like looking at the trail. You can see, for the most part, only one vehicle can fit in here. It doesn't mean that you couldn't squeeze a vehicle in the bushes or in one of these like kind of wider spots to get around another vehicle, but this trail is significantly narrower just because of the growth than the other one. And right there you can see like that's like pinstripes basically, and when I say pinstripes it means that bushes are basically touching the side of the Jeep like when you go through it. So if you're concerned about that, then like don't do Dictum. The other thing to note about those bushes is the bushes are briar, like they have thorns on them and stuff. It hurts. So you know, if you have your windows down or you have your doors off or something, be really careful. Like you might need to wear some pants or something, or lean in or put the window up or something when you go through those areas, because it can cut you up if it touches you. And then the same thing goes for like side-by-sides and ATVs. Be careful out here because those briars are really sharp. So anyway, back to kind of like Dictum. We are running this at 8x speed, so even though it's a 17-minute video, because it was ran at 8x speed, you can tell like it took a lot longer than 17 minutes to do this trail. I think time-wise, this was like near the end of the day, and it was going to be the last trail of the day, and it took longer than expected to go down the trail. And you can see Kimberly's driving. So basically Kimberly drove down the trail, and then we made the U-turn, and then I drove back up. And like I'd like to point out, like I've already said it many times, this trail is only accessible from the top, from that parking lot area. So you have to come down the trail, make a U-turn, and then go back up it. There's no access from the bottom is gated. So anyway, time-wise, Kimberly drove down the trail, and she has a tendency of driving just a little bit slower than I do. I think she drives in the range of like 3 to 5 miles per hour when on trails, just sort of in general. I think it took her maybe an hour to like an hour and 15 minutes to get down Dictum, and then we wanted to rush home actually, or rush back to the campsite to eat. So I like really rushed to get up Dictum to get back to that parking lot. And I think it took me maybe 45 minutes, and that was like rushing, and lots of like kind of complaining about hitting rocks too fast. So yeah, you do have to leave time for both of these two trails. I think that if you left yourself like say 2 to 3 hours per trail between Second Mountain and Dictum, because they're side by side, that's 5 or 6 hours of trail time, plus or minus like lunch. So now you're looking at 6 or 7 hours. Obviously, you don't really want to throw flagpole in also on the same day, because you're just going to run out of time, and that's assuming you have no problems and no traffic and no stopping and no anything. And we were out here by ourselves, and like I said, I mean, we saw a bunch of traffic up on Second Mountain. We didn't see anybody on Dictum. You can see we went all the way down it and no traffic, turned around, came all the way back up it, like nobody. So this is like a ridge that we're on right here, and then it will go down the mountain. And I thought Dictum was fun. I think I liked the obstacles at the base of Second Mountain a little bit better than the obstacles on Dictum, but they both were fun little trails. On like rating and difficulty and stuff, we are in a stock Rubicon, and I know people have been upset that I said the word stock and Rubicon at the same time. And what I mean is, like, we have a Rubicon from Jeep that we haven't done any kind of really outside modification to. We threw the armor on there. I cannot remember if the armor was on before this. I think the armor was on at this point, but it's armor. It doesn't matter that much. Like, it doesn't like add articulation or lift or bigger wheels or anything like that. So we probably had the armor on at this point. So I guess it's not stock, but like it had armor, but it wasn't like lifted excessively, or bigger tires or special engine or special gears or anything like that. Nothing mechanically has been changed, other than that has some armor. So a good part of this trail is kind of like a dirt road, obviously, by watching, but there are sections of it that do have some obstacles on it. But the obstacles, like I'm saying, are moderate obstacles at best. Green obstacles, maybe light blue obstacles, very easy obstacles to navigate over. And obviously, if there's somebody in the passenger seat, it's and you get even hesitant at all, it should be easy, even if the person is not like super technical. They could get out and literally like look under the Jeep and just say turn the wheel left, turn the wheel right, and you'll be fine. There's no crazy obstacles on this trail, or what in my mind is crazy. And rating wise, this Rouse Creek would probably be like a green, maybe a blue at best, and at AOA this trail would probably be rated as a green. I cannot think of any obstacles on this trail that are big enough to be rated as a blue at AOA. So this is a neat little trail. It does seem a little bit different, and it definitely, so like if you compare this like to Flagpole, at Flagpole a lot of it feels like you're on the side of a mountain, and you're just like looking down like the cliff face on one side, and then like there's a mountain on the other side, and it's a bunch of switchbacks. At Dictum, it's not like that at all. You can see that you're basically just driving through the middle of this forest over a ridge, so it has a completely different feel to me than Flagpole and Knob, even though it's like right in the same area, the George Washington National Forest. So it does seem like a nice little change. So for us, camping wise, this whole trail system is actually kind of cool. You could come down and you could spend like Friday on Flagpole and then Saturday up here on Dictum and Second Mountain. Or, vice versa, you could do Saturday on one and then spend the night, and then do Sunday on the other, and you could have a whole weekend packed full of going out. I don't know offhand the mileage. I could probably look on a map, let's kind of guess, but I'm kind of guessing it's somewhere between like 10 to 20 miles per day is like what you'd be kind of expecting to do, which is reasonable. That's a reasonable distance for green trails, somewhere in that range. I probably wouldn't mind taking more than one Jeep down here. I mean, obviously you want to take more than one Jeep is recommended, but I wouldn't mind taking like say 4 or 5 Jeeps. I don't think that would be that big of a deal. Like I know that this is a narrower trail, and sometimes like I would say like like for Feedstone for instance would be a very bad trail to try to take a bunch of Jeeps on. But on this one, even if you did like run some other Jeeps that were coming up the trail while you were trying to get down it, there's enough places that you can get over. Like even in the bushes, you can just like kind of like go between a couple of these trees and just kind of get off the trail. Like there's a spot there, there's a spot there, there's a spot there, there's another spot, there's a spot on the left. Like there's enough of these spots you could easily get out of the way and let others. So this is the end of the trail right here, and there's a big fence obviously, or gate. Hey YouTube, we made it to the base of Dictum Ridge, and you can see it's gated. So it looks like both of these two are gated, both Dictum Ridge and Second Mountain. What I found kind of interesting, other than people go right around the fencing it looks like, but there's a big sign that says don't do that, is back here behind me there's another sign that says there's a trail for experienced ATV riders only. So I don't know what that means, like by experience. They're not it doesn't actually provide a grade, like if it's like 1 to 9 or like green, blue, black. It just says experienced only. So I'm kind of interested to find out like what's over there. Like it says there's a sign there that says you can go do it, so it looks cool. But Kimberly here is the one that just drove everything.
Yep. So I mean, you can come down the trails, but you got to come the long way. You got to come up Long Run Road, and then come down the trails. But then you got to turn around, drive all the way back up the trail you just did. So though they're fun, you just got to be ready for a long time to do both ways.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys.
Have fun.
Hey, so like I was saying, if anybody knows anything about that trail, that I saw the little ATV trail, it appears that the ATV trail is there to connect Second Mountain and Dictum. And so my guess is basically if you had a little 50-inch ATV or maybe even a 50-inch side-by-side, you could come down one of these two trails, then go across that trail and then go up the other trail, so you could do a loop. But I don't know that for sure because I don't have anything that can take me back there to go see if it connects. So like I said, if anybody knows, like maybe leave a comment or something like about if those trails are actually connected with an ATV trail. And then the other thing is, it says experienced. Like maybe if anybody knows what that means, like does that mean like it's like a blue or a black, or what does the word experienced mean like in the ATV realm? Because I've never actually heard that on a sign or anything, like on what that means. Like no beginners, I guess. Like anyway, so I'm driving now. So since I'm driving and we are rushing to get off the trail, the remainder of this video is going to be cab footage, and it's going to be the exact same footage that you basically already saw from the other direction. And we are aired up, and we are in Ford Low with the sway bar disconnected, mainly just to make it so it's a little bit easier, so we're not getting so beat up from trying to get up these rocks so quickly. I think it's somewhere around like 5 o'clock, and we're both hungry and we want dinner. And I think we could have stopped and like cooked right there because we have like everything in the back of the truck. But I think that it was more we wanted to just get off the trail and start drinking and relaxing and stuff at the campfire. And we wanted to get back before dark, basically. And yes, in the dark, everything is a world harder. So the recommendation would be to not do trails in the dark unless you're ready to do them in the dark. So obviously, like a couple things about like night rides and stuff. The recommendation on night rides is to always do a trail that you're very familiar with. So typically, like if you're the organizer of a night ride, or if you're planning on doing a night ride, typically what you'll do is you'll do a trail like this in the afternoon, and then you'll go eat dinner or something, and then you'll come right back to this exact same trail and do it at night. That's typically like the way the night rides are usually done. That way, at night, if you encounter an obstacle or something like that, it's the same one that you did like an hour or two prior in the sunlight, and it's a lot easier to do because you actually kind of remember, hopefully, how you did it. So there's your night ride tip. Lights wise, I mean, I know lights are always like the first thing that people think about on night rides and stuff, or even on Jeeps. Lights are like the least important thing. like in Jeeps, like all together. Like I have some trail lights that we added for the sides, but they're like absolutely like, I've done a bunch of night rides with just the headlights, and like I was fine. Like you don't need big monster light bars. Like there's absolutely not needed at all. And I have like the little rigid lights on the hood, honestly, so I can see wildlife on the sides, because I'm always afraid that a deer is going to jump in front of me or something when I'm on a country road. That's what I have the lights for. It's not necessarily to see the trail. And if anything, if you do need lights to see the trail, you need like fog lights or something, because you're interested in seeing the rocks. You're not terribly interested in seeing like something that's 1,000 feet away. You know, unless you're like on a ranch and you're doing like some kind of like spotlighting or something like that. So you can see how fast I'm going over all this. I know the video has been sped up, but you also can see that like I'm not stopping anywhere. Like I'm just literally just like going over everything non-stop. So that should be indicative to tell you that like this trail is not terribly hard. But for like a brand new beginner, it could be a little bit challenging just because they're a beginner. It's like brand new to them. And you can also see there's not really that many places to turn off, so it's not really that confusing on where to go. And the whole time we were using Google Maps. So like I said, there's no service at all, no phone service. So you need to have the maps downloaded ahead of time with offline maps like in your phone. And we just use the Android Auto, where the phone's plugged into the Jeep, and like we just had some pins dropped, like one at the base and one at the top. So that is a parking lot for Dictum and Second Mountain, and then this would be the connector trail between the parking lot and Long Run. And the sign at the beginning said Dictum, but I don't know if it was like a sign saying this is the way to Dictum, or if this is actually part of Dictum also. So I wanted to include it to be completely complete with you on how to get down here. And you're going to see up here when we get here, I think past one of these big puddles, we're going to make a right-hand turn, and that is Long Run, and that will take you down to the church. So right here you make the right, and then this is just a gravel road to get you down Long Run to the church. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.